you to another week at Casa Move TV show on Casa TV, Changing Life Through Christ. My name is DERRY Rebecca Minville, and I'll be your host. Today with me in the studio, we have Reverend Eric Bento. He was once the former Casa UCC president. He is currently the resident pastor at Kokomlemle. Welcome, Reverend.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Once again, we also have with us Pastor Michael Anti. He is currently the resident pastor at Family Worship Castle. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you all. Today with us, we are talking about combining academics with serving God on campus, the challenges and the gain. I would entreat you to join me. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. So you're welcome back to Casa Move TV show on Casa TV, Changing Life Through Christ. Reverend, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, okay, thank you. I want to thank you so much for the audience, and then also welcome our viewers on Casa TV. My name is Reverend Eric Bento, as you rightly mentioned. I entered University of Cape Coast in the year 2009. I went to study BSc Psychology, and my stay on campus was deeply involving. You know, some of us had been elders or deacons in the church already before we got to campus. And knowing that, you know, you had known the scripture, I had also worked with Scripture Union already. I was also with Bible Society of Ghana. So I had kind of, you know, so much information about scripture. And at the time I went, you could see that there was quite so much I could give as far as Christianity was concerned. And by the grace of God, I did my best to contribute to, you know, Christianity on campus.
Wow. We really appreciate your contribution. Pastor Auntie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so as well known, my name is Pastor Michael Anti. I also entered University for Development Studies, UDS, WA campus in 2008, where I studied Bachelor of Arts in Development Studies, Integrated Development Studies. But I majored in Environment and Resource Studies. Okay. And after school, I served a little bit with some companies, 5-star multi-pack drink. And then I also proceeded to join a company called Royal Prestige. It was a travel and tour agency where I served as a visa support specialist. And then along the line, I got a job with Zoom Lion Ghana as a municipal operations supervisor for New Job in Koforidua. And then through that, we were still joining chosen generation missions for the missionary work and activities. And now I'm with Christ Apostolic Church full-time as a resident pastor for Kaswa Family Worship Center. So that's a little bit.
Wow. It's a real great pleasure to be in your midst today.
Sure.
Reverend Bento, can you tell us a little bit, some fond memories you had whilst you were on campus?
Oh, okay. My stay on campus, I went to meet Reverend Peter Gama as our campus Casa president.
Okay.
You know, they made use of us so much. You know, I joined the Bible study team from level 100. And by the grace of God, the very first lecture I entered, I had a feeling, why don't you say an opening prayer at lectures? First time. So you see, about 173 students in a school lecture theater. I gathered the courage, went to the front, I said, let's have a prayer. We finished the prayer. Immediately I finished the opening prayer, 3 guys entered. And they said they had come to elect somebody for psychology department representative. So I don't know how it happened, but because I had gone there first lecture, the whole class decided I had to be, selected for a representative on the students leadership, committee. So I represented my first year group, about 173 students
Wow.
in the students fellowship. And then that particular year election, the department decided I become the electoral commissioner for the department.
Wow.
So on the University of Cape Coast campus, you mentioned Eric Benton, nobody knows me.
Okay.
But they know me for Afarijan.
Oh, okay.
Because
Oh,
by then
wow.
Ghana's electoral commissioner,
Had.
was one in charge of Ghana's elections. And because I was also heading elections on
Okay.
campus, it just took me over. And then, so my name, Eric Benton, got missing right away.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yes.
that's very nice. And Pastor Auntie, can you also tell us some fond memories you also had in school?
Yeah, for me, entering school was just like entering the church room. Right from the onset, we were into church activities, and by the grace of God, we met some pioneers, great people who were there that coached us to do what we were supposed to do for God and do it well. So for me, everything is about the church. And one of the things I want to say on that is one day we're going to win souls, and I was sent to go and bring some banner, and on my way I was riding, and I was new on the bike. I didn't know my way around properly, so I don't know where this girl came from and crossed me, and I hit her with the bike, and I had created a scene within just a short period of time. And before I realized, guys were on me. They were almost lynching me to death. Slaps coming. Oh! And I couldn't say anything. And I opened my mouth to speak. I was speaking. I can't. And the people were not happy. They said, he's not even from our land. And he's coming to kill our person and all kind of stuff. In fact, before I realized I had created a scene, and so many things were running in my mind. I said, God, so why? I was going to get a banner. So we go and win Freshers. It was Freshers Week, I remember. So we had gone there a week earlier. And I had to sneak from the house because it wasn't time for reopening. But I had to just tell people we have reopened, and I rushed to school to go and help win souls. And then this happens. In fact, it's a memory I don't think I'll ever forget because nobody has ever hit me like that before. But for the work of God, this happened to me. But in the long run, I was saved. Some police friends we had together with now the Reverend Coordinator. He was on campus by then. They maneuvered their way through, and they saved me from the hands of the angry people.
Oh.
So that is a memory I always want to share with people because it was so fond.
We thank God for your life,
Yes.
and you even now being
Yes.
a pastor that even people also look up
That's
to.
right.
Reverend Bento, can you also tell us, do you believe your course as an executive on campus has actually moved towards Casa generally?
Yeah. I feel that there was no way I could be out of Casa as far as Christianity was concerned, because we went to meet, some seriousness with the work of God. Reverend Peter Gama and the rest were actually into it. We also give ourselves to it. Because I had a background with Scripture Union, had been taught how to do Bible studies. We had several training. I had also joined what we call Bible Society of Ghana. We're also into Bible work. So I joined the Bible study group just right away. And I also became the Full Gospel Businessmen's first vice president. So I founded the University of Cape Coast Medical School Full Gospel Fellowship.
Wow.
You could see the medical school students were very busy with academics. You wouldn't find them on campus having friends moving here and there. But looking at a doctor who is not maybe knowing so much about God and becoming a doctor in the nearest future, you could see that it was going to be needful to give them Christ at that end.
Wow.
Some group of people were assigned to do the work. It didn't really succeed, but when I became the first vice, we moved in there. So combining Casa and this full gospel work, it was really, so much for me. And then you will also be doing academic work. But, Casa was the first priority. We made sure that we gave ourselves to everything that Casa was doing. Campus, we went to these sites. We went to one of the communities to plant church. and it was kind of a routine for all of us. I was also surprised that in the period I went, I saw that Christ Apostolic Church had only one central church, and there were no much various branches in Cape Coast, as a municipality. So I made up my mind, why not try to get so many local assemblies in Cape Coast, spread Casa all over before we leave. So over there we planted a Mamuma church, we planted Kwapro church. I came to Ula Nursing College to have a church there. At Ula we had only 3 Casa members. And you look at other denominations, they have so much people. So what I was doing was to bring all the Casa members on the University of Cape Coast campus in a bus.
Wow. Wow.
About 29 people. We joined the 3 people. We have about 30 people for a service.
Wow.
That's how the Ula service was also picking up until, we left campus. It was kind of service to God every now and then. I also became one of the students who joined the University of Cape Coast chaplaincy board. So we were there, and I had a telephone call that the chaplaincy board wanted to have somebody to represent the students on the chaplaincy board because it was only lecturers.
Okay.
And I had a text message that somebody recommended me to the university. So even when I was leaving campus, I had an ex gratia.
Wow. Oh, okay. That's nice. Pastor Auntie, can you tell us about yours?
Yeah, for me, everything started from the house. Before I entered school, I was into the church, very, very rooted deep, from youth secretary to music director to youth president to become an elder to church secretary, even before I got to school. So
wow.
I was an elder before I got to school.
Okay.
So when I got to school, interestingly, when I got to school, I was like, now I'm in a new place. I don't want no trouble. So now I want to have time and study. And then before I realized, just as I mentioned, Reverend Cornita and one brother Enoch called me on phone that they know I was coming to campus and I have to start engaging. So from the scratch, from first year, we were with them. They were showing us around campus and how to engage people or to come to Casa and those kind of, And that was the time they were starting Casa afresh. I think they had started a year or so before we got there. So it was from the roots. And we needed to do well so that we can make the thing ground very well, because other denominations were strong on campus. And we were now trying to push the agenda and also try to bring people. I don't know why most of our students, when they get on campus, they want to deviate from Casa and join other associations, and it was everywhere on campus. So for me, from the first year, we were doing the backup jobs for those who were leading us. Then second year, I took up a position, the music director. Third year, I took up a position again, final year too. So for 3 consecutive years, I was in the executive council, and we did our best to make sure that whatever we stood for, whatever the church stood for, we were still for it. And I can say that I gave more time to the things of God even than the studies. But there were times that it was, academic session was ongoing. We had to sneak to go and win souls. I remember we went to Laura to go and establish a church. We went to Nadoli to go and establish a church. We went to Kalio. I know you are confused about these places, but
I really know
you know them.
Places,
Wow, that's
yes.
great. So Kalio Church, Nadoli, Laura, all those churches were whilst we were on campus. Yeah. So we gave our best while we were on campus to make sure that the things of God kept on moving, even though we were there for studies.
Wow.
So,
great. Back to Reverend Bento. Aside taking your ex gratia, which we will be receiving our share, with Pastor Auntie and
sure.
I, can you tell us some of the challenges you had, especially combining academics with the work of God?
I really found quite so much difficulty because at the time, Casa had also received some support from head office, and we had been given a sprinter bus. The very first day the bus drove from Accra to Cape Coast, we didn't have a driver, and I wanted to move the car from the taxi station because the head office gave us a driver to send it to Cape Coast for us. From the station to campus, I couldn't move the car.
Wow.
So the drivers around could say, this guy, he's not a driver. Somebody came and then drove the car to campus. So as we were going, he told me that, you see, you have to do it this way, and that way. No driver, the car is in. So I had to convert myself into a driver. Before we got to know that one of our members was, had also learned to drive, but he didn't have driver license. So I had to, go and get a driver license for him. And then I was the bus driver on campus conveying Casa people, whilst I was also the Casa president. And you could see that at a time I wanted to have a Mamoma church, Kwapro church working, and then the Ula church. So all of this was actually weighing me down. Before I know, exams and quizzes are just about it, just behind the door. And you need to do quite so much. I had to make sure the car is in good shape. It is parked at a place where the car will be advertising for Casa. In fact, Casa took so much of my time.
Wow.
So as I said, Casa is everything for me.
Wow.
Last I was telling them that if you joke with Casa, some of us will be coming on you with, seriousness, because I lost quite so much in academics because of the Christ Apostolic Students and Associates. Psychology is deeply involved. You need to sit and read. But before I know, the quiz or the exam is just behind the gate, and I have not quite kind of exhausted myself so much into the books. My lecturers knew that I was going to come with flying colors like first class and all that. I couldn't pull my weight. But the joy is that, you see, all the companies out there are looking for people who have the enthusiasm, who have the confidence. If you don't have the confidence in speaking for one thing or another, no company will even employ you. I remember I went for an interview somewhere. They were asking me what I could do. There was one question I didn't understand. I asked them that I could get the answer from my phone and then give it to them if they permit that. So we want you to answer your question, and you want to get the question from. So yes, I can't keep everything in my head. You see, human beings must be deeply confident.
Okay.
You see, because I was so much, into leadership, the style we were using over there was quite so much. I gained the respect of the lecturers.
Wow.
People thought that I was doing that to maybe get grades and all that. But when they saw the final results, and they saw that I was not actually somebody I could pull my weight behind the academic work, they saw that he was not actually going for grades. I was actually a respected person who was actually, going for my academics and the church. And I made sure Christ Apostolic Church won on campus.
Wow.
You can imagine that at the time that we brought the bus to campus, you look at other buses and I made sure it was always sitting in front of the whole of the university. You can see the Casa on it. And it tells you that Christ Apostolic Church was also around.
Great.
You see, so it hasn't been a waste at all. As I stand, the university campus, most of the renowned lecturers on campus are now friends. They know that we trust you. We know that you can do this and this and this and this and that. You see, when I finished my master's, last week somebody called me that the next level of the master's program, they saw my name in the list. I had not applied for the course. The lecturers came to love me so much that, they know that you have a future.
Yes.
All because of the campus leadership. We were actually into so much for Christianity on campus. By the grace of God, most of the people that the Lord used us to, bring up in the course of our leadership and academic work, it has actually paid. I remember we paid one student's school fees, and we had met for prayer. And the guy was the one who was leading the prayer meeting. So we went to the notice board and saw that he had not reported on campus, only for us to be told that he has not paid his school fees. So the school was almost driving him away. So we decided to go to the market to go and get the market women to solicit them to, some cities to come and pay the guy's school fees. By the grace of God, we did. But when the guy was preaching, he mentioned that the Lord Jesus said that wherever he will open the scriptures, Mary Magdalene's name will be mentioned. And the guy said that because you helped me to have school fees, everywhere I also preach,
Wow.
I will mention your name. So it was quite so much. But I feel that I couldn't pull my weight. So I always advise campus leaders to take their academics also seriously.
Okay.
Delegate some of your academic work to some of the leaders. Because we didn't have a driver and I wanted to also kind of help at the time. You can see all the things that was involved.
Great. Great. Thank you very much, Reverend. We'll go for a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to Casa Move TV show right here on Casa TV, where we're changing lives through Christ. It's time for Casa Bells, where we bring you news updates of what is happening and what is yet to happen in our various campuses right here as far as Casa and the church at large is concerned. Now it's a season of transition where Moses get ready to hand over to the Joshuas and Elijahs, two Elishas. Handing over is just around the corner, where we see many members of our Casa fellowships in the various campuses take up leadership positions in the church. People are going to be nominated for vetting and then election, some also for appointment. We want to encourage anybody who is a member of Casa to take up any opportunity to be a leader and serve the church. Let's also encourage ourselves that the national induction and orientation ceremony is just around the corner. And so if you get the opportunity to be nominated and elected into a leg position, do well to make it a point to be available for the national orientation. If you get the opportunity to be appointed or elected into any leg position, do well to make it a point to be at the National Leaders Induction and Orientation Ceremony from the 12th to 16th of October 2022. We want to also encourage the patrons of our pre-tertiary institutions. Please do well wherever you are. Make sure you reach out to our regional coordinators and make it a point to be there. All regional coordinators, regional steering committee members, national and zonal leaders, anybody that is expected to be there, please do well to be available. It is from the 12th to the 16th of October 2022. Our Casa souvenirs are also available. A Casa cloth, a yard goes for 20 cedis for the ladies and the general cloth. Make sure that you have a copy of it so that you can attend any Casa event in peace and in harmony. Let's all do well to come together in unity in our various souvenirs. If you want more news updates, kindly follow us on our social media platforms at Casa_Global on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Join our YouTube community as well at Casa Global, and you'll be a blessing. This is where time allows me to bring the segment of Casa Bells to a close. Until next week, my name is Caleb.
Hi there, I warmly welcome you once again to the Casa Move TV show on Casa TV, changing life through Christ. Once we were talking about the challenges that we're having, combining academics with the leadership positions we have, especially in Casa. Pastor Auntie, can you tell us about some challenges you had?
Thank you very much. I always say that when people pose this question about challenges, I see them as opportunities and learning platforms for me. You see, no matter how the thing presents itself, it should be to you like a stepping stone to the next stage. Of course, every endeavor has its challenges and things that will try to pull you down. For instance, organizing yourself and then putting things in order. I believe that if you organize yourself very well and make sure that you put your time in places, you discipline yourself, you should be able to come through to every session. You should be able to win everything that you have decided to do. The challenges always come, for me, it is just time. And then sometimes the stigma. And people calling you, oh, or so, as for you, you just came to school to pray, you know. And interestingly, the evening prayer sessions were held at a school park just around where I live. Wow. So for me, you have to be there to make sure that the park is ready, even if there are some things you need to pick and stop before the prayer session begins. So for me, the stigma and then apportioning your time were very great challenges on campus, because you know that anybody who has been to what we call UDS, or UCC, you can also attest the programs are very packed. The programs are, I know it's across all tertiary, but some schools are very packed. For instance, in first year, you do like 12 courses. For first semester, second semester, you are doing 11. Runs through. So how to apportion the time for all these courses and then also find time to do the things of God was a very big challenge for us. And then coming to Casa in full session, we had the challenge of instruments. I remember we didn't have a mixer board, we didn't have a keyboard. One brother of ours was bringing his keyboard from the house, and the keyboard, some of the notes were removed, the keys were not there, and it was so interesting. But the mixer board we didn't have. We had to sneak to get the school, the auditoriums, the bigger auditorium, the mixer board for the school. And we had to liaise with the security man to go and get it every Sunday morning. And then after school, after church, we have to return it. One Sunday, we were done with service. I was returning with my colleague. And then when we got there, the dean, I don't know what he was doing on campus that Sunday. The dean was moving to the auditorium. And, excuse me, he had a physical challenge, so he was walking slowly. And we had to, I just wanted to vanish at that moment. And from that day, I was like, I won't go for this mixer again. But Sunday comes, you don't have the equipment, you have to go back there. So that kind of back and forth without instrument, without people to even support you, sometimes you have to be there to arrange your stuff, come back, dress, get ready to MC or preach or something, coordinate the activities. All these things were challenges for us. One day, a lecturer told me, I'll fail you, because it was a time for practicals for a session. One of the courses called Geographic Information System, GIS, and we're supposed to go on field to collect data with some GPS machine and input it into the some to draw some maps and things, geographical cartography and things like that. So the field work was on a Sunday morning.
Wow.
Yes, just at the time we were starting Casa service. And I couldn't let the church be there, no instrumentalists, and then you have to go to the field and collect data. So, in fact, I chose to be at church.
Wow.
And I failed that course. I had an F for that course. But when I sat again for it, I had an E+.
Wow.
Very strangely, it tells you that it was not something I didn't know. Just that because I didn't represent for that particular data collection, something happened. But these were some of the things we were. But as I said, the joy, as Reverend Benton rightly said, you look back and you're like, wow. So the things you were doing, sometimes we didn't even know what we were doing. Today it has yielded results. And everything we are enjoying today in the pastoral field, most of them are things that you did or learned whilst you were on campus. So for me, these were a few of the challenges that we encountered on campus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Reverend Bentel, I would like to ask, in spite of these challenges, do you perceive that your commitment towards the work of God during your time in campus is worthwhile? And then do you have any testimonies that anyone out there is watching, serving as a CASA executive or serving as an executive in any other portfolio? Do you have any testimonies so that they can also look up to?
So much. It has been deeply worthwhile. Leading, will require you to have some level of confidence. When I was there with Bible Society of Ghana, anywhere at all that we had invited a speaker, to come and work for Bible Society of Ghana, the person fails to attend, I'll be there, the manager will call me that, Charlie, the speaker has failed. What do? This topic, can you organize it? In the next 3 minutes, I'll be there in the podium and I'm delivering. How did I get all this? You get it. The confidence that it cannot fail. You gather these things when you are really practicing leadership. I don't feel like any difficulty in this world. Every difficulty, there's a possibility around it. And it has worked so much for me. In fact, I formed HIV and AIDS Peer Educators Union on the University of Cape Coast campus. One of the professors, Prof. Frederick Okansi, became our patron. Can you imagine at the time that Ghana, Cape Coast was leading HIV and AIDS? We were going about educating people, were here and there on the TV, radio and all that. Gathering the confidence to make sure things work. It isn't something that books can give you. So that is one of the pride I gathered. The other, secret about campus leadership was the popularity you gather. Imagine at my time we were about 30,000 and so students on campus. So imagine 30,000 people coming to meet Afarijan on campus and knowing that you are a trusted person on campus. In fact, if I should stand for election on campus, what do you call it, Obuasi, I'll win it right away. Because the people who are coming to vote for me, I have about 30,000 people who got to know of me on campus before I came out.
Wow.
I remember when I was coming to level 300, at vacation I was in Obuasi. Somebody, traveled from Accra to Obuasi to see me.
Wow.
The arrangement was that they don't want me to vie for SRC president. So he was coming to bribe me not to vie for it. And I told him, as for me, Casa is everything for me. So, Master, I'm not even interested in campus leadership. Because when they saw that you are Farijan for campus, the popularity you had gained, if you move out and say, I'm going for SRC president, you just win it easily. But I was not interested in the so-called campus leadership itself. My joy was the work of God. You see, so if I can gain some kind of, they say, a stay, the mainstay on campus, lecturers got to know of you. The moment I get to our department, for example, everybody, Afarijan, the lecturers, and then my mates. Now you drive to a place here and there, you meet people. They have also made it somewhere else, and they know that this guy can be trusted. You see, the trust you gain have been so much, priceless.
Great, great. Reverend Auntie, what are some testimonies you also have to share to others?
Thank you. I think that, just as Reverend Radley hinted, one of the undeniable things you get is the confidence. Because of the exposure you have, you are always supposed to take a decision. People are coming to Casa, they are coming to church, but it's like you are going to an office. You have to prepare, make sure that things are in place, that those who are coming will enjoy what you are about to give to them. For some of the members, they are just coming to church, so they can sleep and come at 8:30. You can't do that. So what it taught me is that you always have to be ready. You always have to prepare ahead of time. And people are always relying on you. They are watching you to see what is coming next. And by so doing that, in trying to do the work of Casa, you realize that you are building yourself. For instance, when you come to my church, I'm able to do almost everything in the church. Instrument playing a little bit, singing a little bit, reading the Bible, cleaning, everything. Why? Because at all times in Casa, there was a burden on you to make sure those things were done. So in as much as you are trying to help build the Casa, I see that the testimonies that you are building yourself. I think that in this life, everything you are doing for God, you are rather doing for yourself. Everything, every investment you are making in God today, you are making it for yourself. It will show up sometime later. But the Bible said in Galatians 6 verse 7, that be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows. So whatever, the word whatever means that everything you do is a seed. And it will bring you results later on. And whatever I have enjoyed today in ministry or in exposure, just as Reverend mentioned, sometimes when there is the need for somebody to be on the spot to redeem something quickly, they call on you. And it is as a result of consistency in delivering what has been handed over to your hands. And it is because Casa gave us that opportunity. Whoever is listening to us now or watching us right now, whatever opportunity that is coming your way, embrace it and do it. But you are doing it for yourself and not for God alone. So that is what I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Auntie. Talking about making an investment in your life, especially serving in Casa portfolios, what are your views to how it has actually impacted your life personally in your ministry as you are serving now?
Yeah. So back again, on the same verge of point. I said, number one, it has really got me prepared at all times. I don't know when to say I am not ready. And it's because all the time on campus, you have to be there. There are times you have to serve on different coordinating levels. Just as I was saying, you have to make sure, because the numbers were few, and the few who were coming, they were reluctant. Just as I said, they are coming to service, but you are going to deliver a service. So you have to always be ready, and it has really helped me in my ministry. Sometimes you go to church and nobody is there to start, but you are the pastor. You are coming to officiate at the same time people are coming to listen to you. You can't be waiting for the one who is on opening prayer to come. You have to start. And it is because you have done that before, over and over again, you trust that you are able to deliver and always be on point. And then number two, for me, one of the things that has really built around me is coordinating with people, relationship with people. The CASA position will give you the opportunity to meet a whole lot of people. One day I went for an interview and the interviewer said that, so if you were an animal, which animal would you compare yourself to? It has been a lesson for me, and I realized that whenever I meet people, I want to relate them to their animalistic aspect. So this one, is he a dog or is a pig? Is this one a hen? And so you meet people from all walks of life, and because you have done that before on campus, it gives you the ability, the tenacity to be able to manage everybody that God gives to you.
Okay.
You see, if you are not able to manage what God gives you today, He will not give you something tomorrow. So what you are able to manage, that is what God gives to you. And so what we are doing today, your progress in ministry, your growth in the kingdom business will all be dependent on what you have done before that is causing you to do what you are doing today to be able to grow your tomorrow. And so for me, what I'm doing today, everything, I owe it to CASA. Everything. I owe everything to CASA, from soul winning to church administration to spiritual giftings to everything, to organizing, everything I owe it to CASA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. Reverend Benson, what's your own share of the cake?
Honestly, it has been something good for all of us. You know, leadership is one of the best things you can do in this world. See, one of the challenges of society is with practice. People don't practice what they are really trying to do. If tomorrow they lift you up to a particular position, you will let it down because the practice is not there. But I saw the CASA as the practicing field. And I was also having this thing at the back of my mind that Kwame Nkrumah was a student. He was spotted at the students' level as a great leader. So this campus that I've entered, I should do everything like Kwame Nkrumah. Do something that can have memories forever. So you see, you have to organize a program. You will not be the one to preach all the time. You have prayer meetings you have to attend. You have program outlines you are drawing. You have reports you have to write. You have letters you are doing. As it stands now, all these things came to us as a gift. I didn't go to a computer school to learn how they do it. But because of campus leadership, it came to us just like that. How do you write a proposal? These things, campus, it came to us like that because we were looking for money to buy a bus. We needed a seed money before we come and report to head office. How did we do that? I was going the whole of Ghana with Solomon Duku, now Apostle Duku's son, doctor. We went throughout the whole Ghana. I remember we came to head office to ask for all the churches in Accra, about 60-something churches. And the head office gave us a room here to sleep there the whole day. University of Cape Coast CASA was here in Accra looking for funds because we needed to do something. So in my ministry, in fact, there's nothing like anything difficult. I don't see that. Because at my Mama church, we started with one microphone and a combo. So when I went into ministry, I looked at nothing there. We didn't just have speakers. Everything was not there. I was using the same combo to plant churches. Because it was possible on campus. Why not here? Over there, you go, you see that the offering, we had about, let's say, one Sunday, you have about 40 Ghana cedis as a Sunday offering. You get, there was no organist, there was no this, but I had to comb through the community to look for an organ that I was paying. It was possible on campus. Why not here? So every time that kind of, bell is there in the mind, it was possible. Why not here? Because when we were planting at Mamoma Church, we were also going for lectures. And the church was being planted. I set some guys, to take care of the Mamoma Church. It was possible. Why not now? So you see, if you have done it before, you have the confidence to do it elsewhere too. So you see, it has impacted me quite so much. I have quite so many, materials on my laptop that I brought all over from campus. You cannot get these things anywhere. If you have never done it before, it is extremely difficult to, move into any office and have it done.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your experiences.
Don't mention.
Also, some few weeks ago, we had the Casa Intercessors Assembly, the first of its kind, where all members, Casa from every other region, came together to stand in as a family to pray, to raise our voice to God, and the heavens came down. You will join us, see some videos, and we talk much more about it.
There were a lot of confusion. There were a lot of afflictions. We are coming to pray. We are coming to tell the Lord to revive our country in the mighty name of Jesus. May you revive your country once more in the name of the Lord Jesus. In the name of the Lord Jesus. May you revive your country once more. Oh, Barakate, Valusebelekate, oh, Balakada, Vale Barakadia, Ekato, Parasebelekate, Velekata.
Wakanya Mayanina, the Atirami. Are you here? Or career you were moving for? Or don't fool. You know something? Daniel Pate, and the Negrato Amame. Osi Wakanya Mayanina, the Atirami. Or career you were moving for? Or don't fool. Are you ready for some dance? I say, don't bury my Niminamina or the Quatia, Ababatumia. Unyayana, Opayana, Nane, oh, Papa Bino, Fire, Brinina. 1, 2, 3, 4. Me, Padita.
That's why we are alive today. Tell Jesus this morning.
Very soon, if you are a debtor, the Lord has cancelled the debtor. You are going to be a creditor. The Lord will change your life. Very soon, you will not be a tenant again. You are going to be a landlord. You are not going to be a passenger, but you are going to be a car owner. Are you there? Are you there? You are going to care for people. That is your destiny. Super abundant blessing. You will be like the sea. You are not going to lack. You will lack nothing. Everything that you need, the Lord will provide. We have the great provider. You provide all your needs. May you take all this blessing. You have a responsibility to secure the gates of the land. If you do that, every blessing that the Lord has mentioned in the Bible is yours. Let us organize ourselves. Let us have time out of our busy schedule and secure the gates of the land. Pray assiduously, pray fervently, pray ardently, pray pensively, and the Lord will listen to our prayers. May the Lord bless you. Never fail me yet. See, God will never fail us. Has never failed. There's one thing I know, everywhere Jesus Christ has never failed.
welcome back. We are here again, Casa Move TV show on Casa TV, changing lives. And Papa, can you tell us a little bit about the CIA, the Casa Intercessors Assembly?
Wow. It was quite, very powerful program. I could look at the national chairman's delivery. He was deeply anointed on that day. He was really moving the, environment. It was really very powerful. I enjoyed it so much.
Yes, Pastor Auntie, what's your take on it? We coming together, standing as a family to raise our voices in prayer.
Yeah. I think that is a very good initiative that the National Secretariat, we applaud them for such a fantastic program that it should keep coming on. If you look at the way the auditorium was full, outside was full, I mean, the excitement, the enthusiasm, it's like people were yearning for something. People were ready for something. People coming from all the other places, as far as the north, coming from the western region, just to come and pray. It was a glorious moment. And Honorable Alan Martin sending a rep or delegates to come, our national chairman himself. It means that the whole church was there. If the national chairman himself was there. And you could see, as Reverend rightly said, how he was into the program. It was no joke. And we know that there are more times ahead. The song ministration, instrumentation, protocoling, everything was just on point. It's something that I'm sure it has gone down well with us. And I chanced on an information, people were saying, why is it just one day? It should have been more than one day. It should tell you that the impact was really felt. And we want more of it, and we know we are going to see more.
Great. So to our Casa national coordinators, we are appealing to you. We want more of CIA.
We want
more of it.
We want more champion. We are campaigning. We want more.
Yes, we are campaigning. If possible, and could be a week-long, a 3-day program, we want more of it. Exactly. So back to it, Reverend Bento, can you tell us a little bit more of the benefit you've had aside ministry?
Like social benefits that I've gathered. Thank you. It has kind of worked for me. The people that I, worked with. You can talk about Amu Mensah, who is now an auditor in one of the banks in Accra. Even at the time that we were leaving campus, there was one guy who had also, won something in South Africa with one of the banks. And he was going to earn like 4,000, Ghana cedis, while we were going to earn 300 Ghana cedis as the national service allowances. It has really paid. The effect of leading on campus has been so useful. If you are a finance secretary, you will be doing finance reports. If you are a secretary, you will be writing various forms of report. And all the campus leaders, last time I met one of the ladies, she was also a psychology student. She's taking care of some of the challenged, people in Ghana. And you can imagine how much she's making out of that. In fact, it has been so useful that the Lord used us there on campus. It has been deeply useful. You can talk about so many. I have some who are lawyers now. I have some who are with the bank. Some are with, Bank of Ghana. Some are with so many other areas. It has all been so useful. In fact, we will always attribute all the successes we got from the opportunity Casa gave to us.
Okay, great. Pastor Auntie, what's your take on it?
Yeah, to add to what Reverend Bento said, for me, one of the enormous benefits is the ability to train other people. It's not just in ministry, but when you get into any facet of life, you are able to impact something to the persons you find. And then also, there are others who have benefited in various ways that the serving in the ministry or serving on campus has given to them. Various people have gotten opportunities to enter into various job opportunities and other places. Even some have traveled, and some are also doing their own businesses and other stuff like that. For me, one of the other benefits is how to help people. Before I got the opportunity to serve as a Casa executive, I didn't know that you can use your personal resource to help another colleague. Like on campus, we were looking for rooms for people, rent, hostels. If you have been to UDS, you'll understand what I'm saying. Most of the students are out. The hostels are not enough. And sometimes you have to go the extra mile to just help somebody get a hostel so that they can have the peace of mind. And so coming out from the school, I realized that life is all about helping people. And some of these persons that we have helped can come back and testify that indeed the help we offered has really been impactful, and their lives are gotten to a place where God wants them to be. So this is a field that I believe the campus ministry has taught me.
Wow, great benefit.
Sure.
And Reverend Bentel, can you also tell us the little thing that you were able to do, the one key thing that made you a success at combining your academics with the ministry?
You see, I realized that the ministry, the campus leadership was really weighing me so much. So what I did was that, I used the library. All the time I could enter library like 6 p.m. and I would leave there 4 a.m. 6 to 4. I had my program, what you call a timetable that I was using. Lecture from this time to this time. Lecture from this time to this time. And it was really working for me. I also have some group that I was studying with. Some of them were very good, very fast at getting the things done. If you do group studies, it was quite, useful for me. One of my friends had been able to summarize a particular topic, and you go and also pick, and then you read it through. So group studies, I was also having my timetable. I used the library a lot, and it worked for me.
Okay, Reverend Auntie, can you also tell us one key thing that helped you combining your academics with God's work on campus?
Yes, for me, it stands on organizing. Okay. As a student, the word university comes from the word universal, means that you have to be versatile around all angles. But it all boils down to organizing. I was always organizing myself very well, making sure that at this time I'm supposed to do this, at this time I'm supposed to do that. So I organize myself, the time I'm supposed to go for soul winning, the time I'm supposed to pray, the time I'm supposed to meet friends to share the word of God with them, the time I'm supposed to study on my own, the time I'm supposed to meet and have a group study. It is just organizing. Organize yourself very well on campus and make sure, number 2, you be disciplined with what you want to do. Many people just write resolutions for the year. Many people draw timetables, but they are not disciplined enough to be able to stick to what they have written. If you go to people's home, you see something like a menu, and the menu is there, but they are not following the menu. So in the morning, I'll take tea, but you see them taking some leftover banku. You don't have a discipline to do what you want to do. So for me, number 1 is organizing, and number 2 is discipline. Number 3, keeping friends who are going where you are going. I always commend Reverend Jensie, CASA coordinator, Prophet Atanga, and then Brother Enoch Katere. These were persons who were always with us. Brother Nathaniel, Brother Ben, they were coaching us. Brother Samuel, they were coaching us. So all the time you see that, okay, I'm going this way and this man is also going that way. Like if you watch the Animal Kingdom, you never see a lion even walking with a tiger. They are both cannibals. But you see that a lion is always working with a lion. Why? So that they don't have a mirror. So when you see your colleague, you realize that this is who I am. This is what I stand for. For me, one of the keys that really pushed me, when I looked at the people that were with me, people that were going with me, I keep on pressing. So 1, organizing, 2, discipline, 3, people who are going where you are going. They will help you to get to where you are supposed to be. For me, these are the 3 things that really help.
Okay, great. Reverend Bentel, back to you again. Most people are of the view that taking up positions in the church is going to demean their main purpose of going to the university. What is your advice to them?
Actually, I read from the University of Cape Coast Students Manual that the academic work without your social environment is not able to make you a graduate enough. So when I saw that thing in the material, I made sure that I just will not only focus on book. There were some people who came out with first class, but they were not able to live with anybody in their hostels. All the time we had to go and settle issues. Why? Academic A. But they are having challenges with everybody. So I saw that particular statement in the University of Cape Coast Students Manual that your academic work alone is not able to make you a graduate enough. but the social setting in which you find yourself is one of the contributing factor. Every company is a social setting. It's not an academic environment. So if you actually work well with the social setting, combine your academic work, and then you come out, I can say that you will be all round. But if you focus only academic, you may not even excel in relationship. And all the organizations in this world, they serve human beings. So if you couldn't really accept the responsibility to serve human beings on campus, I tell you, when you come on the job, you'll be getting challenges.
Wow.
In marriage, you get challenges. On the job, you get challenges. In your own family, you'll be getting challenges because your focus was purely academic. You get all the A's, but I tell you, what you got first class does not make a happy home. It is real relationship that makes it work. And that was what the CASA, was standing for while we were there on campus. So my friends there on campus as leaders, don't take it for a joke. If you did your prayer, leadership well, if you did the vice presidency well, like Solomon Duku was doing for me, Carlos Samoa was doing for me, they were very perfect. Prayer leaders were just on point. Every time they were there, it is happening. Now, I'm not even surprised some of them are prophets. You see, leadership, the church, you lead human beings. How do you do it? In fact, if you have failed in leading campus, when you come home, you will also fail.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Pastor Auntie, please, a little from you.
Yeah, so one thing I learned in school is that one of our lecturers came and told us that the university has two functions. He said one is called the manifest function, and then the other is the latent function. The manifest function is the main reason why you are there, to study, to acquire a certificate. And the latent function are the other benefits that you get, the relationships you create, the knowledge that you gain from other fields, the practical things that happen to you on campus. And so he used the statement that don't just pass through the school, let the school also pass through you. So going to school to get a certificate doesn't mean that is the only reason why you are there. At the long run, so many people met sometimes their spouses even in school. So they being on campus and doing ministry is not a defeat. It doesn't also mean that go and do all that there is about the ministry and leave your books. You have to blend the two. That's why we're sharing some practical tips on how to blend the two, how to organize yourself, apportion your time, and be disciplined enough to be able to read. Because CASA, we don't fail. Yeah. We don't fail in academics. We don't fail in anything. Wherever CASA is, there is victory because we always have a vision. Anybody who has a vision and sticks to the vision, you win. So for me, being on campus and doing ministry doesn't only mean that stick to that ministry alone or also stick to only academics. You need to be able to blend the two. That's what makes you who you are. Let the school pass through you. Let the structures pass through you. That's why we have sessions of counseling and guidance, even as part of the school curricula. They are non-scoring. Some of them are non-scoring, but it's part of the school curricula. Why? Because it is not only the book that you know. In Akan they say something called Ifyenyansa. That is what you gather from around, not just only in the books. I remember when I was interviewed for my job offer with Zoom Lion. They were looking for 5 people, and we're more than 50 or so. So they started. I got the appointment as part of the 5, and later on, within some months into the work, the HR personnel called me and said, "Do you know why I picked you?" I said, "No." He said, "I went to my prayer. I saw a dream, and in a dream, somebody told me, I believe it's God, to pick you because you are spiritual." And I didn't know they had a portion for spiritual persons. In fact, the owner of the company had a prayer team who were praying with him 24/7. And so for them, they were looking at spirituality some way. But for me, I went with my environmental background to go and, do the environmental stuff. But the man told me emphatically, "I picked you not because of your environmental background. I picked you because in a dream, somebody came to tell me you are spiritual. And I've seen that it is true." So in one of their annual Thanksgiving service, I was given the platform to minister, and everybody was wowed. Where did I get this from? From campus. If I had neglected CASA and just concentrated on my environmental studies, probably I wouldn't have gotten that job that gave me enough exposure and confidence to be where I am today.
Wow, great notion on that.
Yeah.
Reverend Bento, can you tell us how to combine our spirituality with our academics?
The best way you do that, if you are a campus leader, is to try and delegate. Give out some responsibilities to some other people. You know, just take reports of what they are doing, and you never regret you did that. In fact, if you don't know how to delegate, assign people to do, you know, various responsibilities for you, you can carry everything on your head. It cannot work for you. So the best is just give out certain responsibilities to some people. You have lectures at this time, you cannot be there. You know, assign, give information. Information giving is also one of the things. Give out the info. I will not be there from this time to this time. I pray that you'll be doing 1, 2, 3, 4 for us. And it pays. It pays so much.
Wow, we thank God it pays. Reverend Auntie, can you tell us a little on that?
So for me, I think that apart from delegating, you need to be intentional about the things you want to do and always know that it is possible. He made mention of something, I really love it. He said that if it was possible on campus, then it's possible in school, in church, in wherever you find yourself. A good writer said that there is always a road on the mountaintop, just that it cannot be seen from the valley. So wherever you are down there, there is a road, and you have to be intentional about what you want to do. You know, one other lecturer told us that the university is very porous. You can be working on campus and think that there are no laws, there are no barriers, but when you cross a boundary, you will know you have crossed a boundary. So sometimes that freedom that gets into your mind, when you get to campus, like my mama is not here again, there is nobody to coach me, I can learn whenever I want to. If you are not able to arrest that freedom and let it get out of hand, that is what I mean by being intentional. Don't let the freedom eat into your head too much. Well, it nearly happened to me. When I got there, no matter to force you to pray, to read the scriptures, but I at a point I had to be intentional about what I wanted to do. So what do I really want to become? And plan my life very well around it.
Wow. Thank you very much for the great inputs. But before you go, what is the advice you give to any student out there, the CASA, especially CASA executives, as they are blending their academics with spirituality, working for Christ? What's your advice to him or her?
My best advice to all campus leaders is that they should give up their best. In fact, make sure it works well. Give every effort you can do to make sure CASA stands out. When I went to campus, we were going to have a program, and the posters were 4. We had 4 full posters. I said, it can't happen. So we came to Accra, we printed 1,000 copies. I wanted the whole campus to hear about CASA, 1,000. We posted everything everywhere. So I feel that they must give up their best, and it will work well for them.
Great. So as you are listening, Reverend Bento says, give out your best and it will work out for you. Pastor Auntie, what's your take on it?
Yeah, so my words is that there is an expectation on us. God is expecting us to do something for him. Ecclesiastes said, remember your Creator in the days of your youth. It means that there is something God is expecting from a youth He's not expecting from an aged person. And we have to always have this in mind. We are not just there to go to church and come home. There is an expectation. God is expecting us to carry a certain mandate. And let's always make sure we find that purpose, that mandate, and stick to it. Embrace whenever you are given an assignment. Accept responsibilities and run with it. For in due season, God will reward you. Whatever you are doing, as I said from the beginning, is an investment into your future.
Wow. Thank you very much, Pastor Auntie. As you rightly said, it's an investment into your future. To every CASA executive out there, please do not give up. Give out your best. It's an investment for you. To each and everyone out there, it might not just be CASA executive position, but it may be any other portfolio you want to go into. SRC, JCR, departmental, any position you want to go for. Kindly contact your president, your denominational president, and we will get back to you. Contact us from the national coordinator, and we are going to do whatever that we can to support you. Go out for this position, blend it with your academics, and you come out great. We wish you all the best. It was lovely to have you join us. Hope to see you next week. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.